That's our great strength.
Yeah, well, it is, and it's what I love. But one of the first sort of cross-cultural dishes I ate was a Balti. And this is a Balti wok.
So it's the wok that's Balti, not the dish?
Both.
Oh.
It's a bizarre thing, and, like, they're quite popular in the Midlands in England. In fact, the Brits love their Balti curry so much, I know a place that's opened up here just so the expats can get a fix. And they're loving it.
Oh, they're gorgeous. It's just like I'm in England again.
How would you like that? As it comes, which is mild to medium, or would you like it a bit milder?
Every time we used to go out on a Friday night, have a few beers and go out for a Balti after. It's always a good laugh.
This is just as good, probably better than we get in England. Yes, we love it.
It's so English, it's hard to believe that the Balti originally came from an area of northern Pakistan called Baltistan. And in the curry, there's all these regional influences like Kashmiri and Chinese. And check out the bowl. That's also called a Balti, and it was used for cooking and eating.
Vegetable Balti?
Anyway, the Balti found its way to Birmingham from the 50s to the 70s with Pakistani immigrants who set up these little cafe-style places called Balti houses. But you know the part of this story that I love that makes this curry really multicultural? Yep, a lot of Poms have it with chips.
Like I say, I always order a bowl of chips with the curry instead of normal rice. It's really nice if everybody goes for it.
Do they actually eat curry with chips? I mean, only the English could do that.
But that's the beauty of it, that a cuisine ended up in the Midlands and it was kind of met halfway because the English are so used to having chips with their food, and it was embraced by the Balti houses, which is amazing. So they would serve quite a standard procedure that you got your Balti curry and you'd have chips. It's mental.
Oh, dear.
But what are you going to cook?
Well, I've gone cross-cultural too, and I'm cooking kangaroo with tongue, with a little mustard sauce and an eggplant pickle. I've really confused you.
No, it's good. I love it. Look, I love it. I got researching, and I had this book years and years ago, and I'm ripping off someone's recipe, and it's Celebrities Sweet Corn and Potato Balti by Mr. Aziz and chef Dinesh Dhingra. So they're kind of blingy. You know, it's that whole kind of fun thing. But anyway, what you need to do is make a standard Balti sauce. And this is quite interesting because this forms the base of nearly every Balti curry. There's variants on the sauces, but it's quite a fragrant, alive, fresh sauce. And how you do that is you fry off onions, a lot of, tomatoes, and your standard set of coriander, cumin, chilli turmeric, black cardamom, fenugreek, garlic and ginger, and it's a pretty standard thing. You throw a bay leaf in. Right near the end, you'd be cooking in this because it's like a stir fry. And right near the end of cooking, about half an hour in of all of this sweated down, you throw in your water, 250 mils for this recipe that'll be on the web, and then you blend it with the coriander. You pull the woody stuff out, the cardamom, because that gets a bit strong, and you end up with 1 litre of Balti sauce. And it's pretty well with all of the Baltis, you'll find a type of Balti sauce that is very similar to this. So there's a very constant thread there, which I find fascinating. Anyway, I've got a little bit of chop. You can get moving, Maggie.
OK. Well, I've used kangaroo, and that's very Australian, and tongue. But I've cooked the tongue in advance. So I had some onion and celery and garlic and thyme and some lemon and bay leaves. Are they your bay leaves or mine? and some peppercorn. But it's mainly that it has to cook at a simmer, and it's really great in a very thick, heavy pot like this with a lid and with a cartouche. So the tongue never dries out. I love the bit from the back because, guess what? It's more moist. It has a bit more fat.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say that so I didn't feel guilty.
Oh, you can see it. It looks like a well-marbled beef up the back, doesn't it?
Exactly. But these bits at the back are the absolute star of the tongue. Now, I've some smoked eggplant You know, you can smoke just with a wok at home.
I can smell it from
But
here.
with eggplant, it takes up a tremendous amount of oil. But you don't want too much oil to start, but it's got to be really, really hot. Then some salt and a bit of garlic
Yep.
in now. So once you've got colour on both sides there, just a little bit of verjuice, you can use water and let it cook down till it's syrupy and cook through. And that's the stage you turn it down.
All right, well, I'll jump in and get on with me Balti.
All right?
Ideally, a Balti is quite interesting because it is the wok that you cook in, but that's not going to work on the cooktop, so we'll pretend that I'm using a Balti wok. I'll put that
that's
little
a
guy
point.
away. And I've just got a saucepan, and it doesn't really matter. Basically, this one is a sweet corn and potato and spinach one. There's not much oil in the Baltis compared to a lot of other curries. So get some garlic in. And these are power-cooked potatoes, just a couple of them. They're just soft and they need a fry. In with the garlic and just colour them up a little bit. Chuck in the ginger, fair bit of ginger. And I'll just put in maybe half a green chilli just to give it a back note. I'd normally put 2 in for this recipe. We're being Barossa friendly.
You're adapting to the local conditions.
Oh, dear. This is fresh corn, 4 cobs of corn that have been steamed, and then the kernels knocked off. And this is a litre of Balti sauce. I've written the recipe for a litre. I only need 600 for this dish, and it freezes down very well. And that's the base for your next Balti,
so
I
it's
guess.
totally vegetarian.
Yeah. And just fold the spinach in. All you've got to do is warm this through. And like I said, this is someone's Balti. This is from a Balti house in the Midlands, so I've got to try and honour the method here. I will need to season it up now. It needs the salt. You can smell the coriander starting to kick through now as it warms up again. And there's one other flavour profile for me that I think is really, really important, Maggie, and that's the methi leaf. Or,
The which leaf?
well, it's fenugreek leaf.
Oh, OK. But what did you just call it?
Methi, which is the Hindu
Methi.
for it.
Oh, yeah.
And very much like coriander, it's got that sort of pungency. So pop a bit of methi in.
Look, while you're doing that, I'm just going to take the lid off because I need more evaporation there. And I forgot to put my lemon in.
Yeah.
Never too late to put lemon in. I'll just increase the temperature so all those juices become amalgamated.
Garam masala, 1 tablespoon to give it a final note. And you just let it warm through. And really it's ready to serve, bar the soggy chips. That can just sit and wait for the coriander to go in.
Well, all I want now is some fresh oregano. I'm using the whole leaves. I'm not chopping them. OK, so I'll just put that there. And I want a really hot fry pan. So just a bit of absorbent paper and just a little bit more heat before I put the kangaroo on. Now, all I've got on here at this stage is olive oil and pepper. So a little bit of salt and straight onto the pan. Be lots of smoke. Now the kangaroo will just take a couple of minutes. I've got the butter getting nut brown in the other pan, a tiny bit of oil. Now, 3 pieces of tongue. I mean, this is a huge meal. This is ready now to flip over. Okay. That is all the tongue needs. It's already been cooked and can sit with no trouble at all. Now, the kangaroo, I'm turning it on its side because it's a little bit looser meat and it's got to be rare.
Yeah.
So kangaroo is a really quick cook, but almost double that time for resting.
Oh, OK. Well, we can probably sneak a little taste in, Maggie. Because, like I said, this is a very quick one. And normally they serve them in these little tiny Balti woks. And they're cute, aren't they? Piping
They're
hot.
lovely. Copper.
So, just pop the curry in. And I've got some papadums. You could have rice. And just finish with a bit of fresh coriander. And I said we had soggy chips, so you're not allowed to do this anymore, apparently, but I think we can do it for ourselves, can't we?
Not allowed to have chips and newspaper.
Apparently so, the food police, you know.
Oh.
And a papadum. So they're very mild curries, Maggie.
Good.
You know, the sauce is very light and quite fragrant. Just coriander and fenugreek should come through. And then I think the idea is you actually dip your chips in here. I'm not sure about the etiquette here, Maggie. But you know the bizarre thing? The combination actually works, which is really sad.
You know, it's not too hot.
Oh, it's not, is
It's
it?
got green chilli in and it's not too hot.
Well, late night drinking food, really.
I think it's really quite good.
I love it. That's a compliment. I'll take that as a compliment. Do you reckon your roux ready?
I reckon it is. And let me do the big carve. Okay, so we have a fair bit of meat here. Roux has to be rare. So we've got that. We've got the tongue this end, roux this end. Now I've got this smoked eggplant that's it's still warm. And mustard sauce. And when I say sauce, it's a real thick mustard mayonnaise. So a little bit over here, little bit over there. So that's my take on a real cross-cultural dish. The English, the Australian. Well, I have to taste it, but I really don't mind if you don't want to.
Oh, I reckon
I'm
it's
using
great.
your
Get
big
in
knife.
there.
Well, what if it were tough?
So eggplant, roux,
The eggplant and roux
and
and the tongue and the mustard.
great texture combination. This beautiful and soft, and the roux is fantastic. That mustard sauce is great, and I can still taste smokiness from the eggplant. It's great, isn't it?
I'm really happy with this.
Have you done it before?
No.
It's fantastic.
You know, it is so easy to get cross-cultural wrong and make a mishmash, but this is from a master.
I've got a sneaky suspicion you're talking about Chonglu.
Absolutely.
You reckon we can put 2 chooks in one tray? Yep.
Food and Wine magazine named him one of the world's 10 hottest chefs alive. Chong Lu has been called a revolutionary, the father of fusion, and a culinary magician.
These are my grandmother's style of eggplant, and we're going to dress it with some chili aioli, which is, you know, more of a Spanish kind of influence.
In Chong's kitchen, Mediterranean ingredients sit side by side with Asian. French classic cooking techniques with Chinese.
We just make our imagination run wild, you know. That's what Australian style food is all about. It's no boundaries, really. Dressing it,
Yeah.
right? And
When this self-taught Chinese Malay opened his own restaurant in 1975, he was one of the first in the world to bring a true East meets West cuisine to the public.
it either turned out to be even more brilliant than what you had at home, and usually it's the case, or you just say that, oh, it's just good enough.
Delve into the mind of Michelin star chef
Look at that.
and successful restaurateur Eric Ripert
It smells beautiful.
as he shares his love of food,
It's just perfection.
fresh produce,
What a great way to shop for vegetables.
and great flavours.
Give me a break, this is fantastic.
Reignite your passion for food with the new series
Cheers.
Avec Eric. Starts tomorrow 9:30 on SBS Food and On Demand.
I'm Matt O'Kine. I love cooking, but I'm just not that good at it. So I'm heading in